There's so much I want to say about this awesomely depressing song. And what better way and atmosphere to say it in while I wait for my dad to come and try to jumpstart the truck that I'm borrowing from him, because my truck was originally broken, so I dropped it off at his place. So he helped to get it fixed because I needed to drive to and from work using his truck, and now his truck's not starting, so he's driving my truck that's fixed to his truck that's now broken down, and hopefully we can jump it and I won't be late for work. So we'll see. But what better way to spend time waiting than to review Radiohead's No Surprises. I'm not a huge Radiohead fan, but I do like Radiohead. But OK Computer is one of the best albums ever written. It's such a fantastic just story of sound and music and melody and emotion, and it just transcends time. Like you can listen to OK Computer today and it still sounds modern. It doesn't sound 90s, man. There's no like fuzzed out, or maybe a little fuzzed out guitars, but it doesn't have that 90s feel. I know this because I was at my job last night. I'm a waiter at a bar, and it was all 90s stuff, all 90s hits, and I'm like, wow, I'm having 90s flashbacks. But if you put Radiohead on, you don't have 90s flashbacks. You're in the now, man. You're in the now. Anyway, what was I doing? Oh, okay. So, well, speaking of work, I work a hectic job and things can get really busy, and busy is good. Busier is the more money I make. But, things can get frantic and there are 1,000 different things going on at once. And I could be running around, trying to do so many things at once. And then all of a sudden I hear this. And after I hear that, I just kind of stop and collect myself, and I calm down, and then I realize, all right, things are gonna be okay. It's kind of like when, my mind is like a baby who's having a tantrum, but if you play music for some children, they'll stop, and they'll kind of look mesmerized and kind of calm down and maybe smile. And that's the effect this song has on me. When I'm at my most stressed, just saddest or whatever, just not doing well, I'll put this song on and it just kind of levels me. Now, I know this is kind of ironic because if you look at the meaning of the song, in which we will, and you look at the lyrics, it's not necessarily meant to level you out. Now, the music is meant to do that, and they and Radiohead kind of did this on purpose. The song's about someone who just wants to go home, have his dinner, stick with his routine, and not be involved with anything. He just wants to go to sleep every night and just relax. So what this song does, it's a lullaby. Now, this song is against that kind of thing. Radiohead is pretty big in activism. So this is why this song is so great on so many levels. So in one way, it's the lyrics talking about a person who has given up, but it's using that story, I think, to inspire people with the message that this is what not to do. Now is not the time to be complacent, because this is a song about complacency. But on a completely different level, and for a while, this is what I thought the song was about. I thought the song was about, I just need a fucking break. I just need a break here. I don't want any alarms. I don't want any surprise. I just want to relax. My life is too frantic and too out of control. I want to relax. No surprises, no alarms, no surprises. For a while, I was thinking of forming a production company, and I was going to call the production company No Alarms Productions, and the acronyms NAP after this song, because I believed in it so much. I believed in what I thought was the message. But then when I did some research, I went to Songfacts, which is a great site, and usually I don't like to read people's opinions of the songs. I usually like to go to the horse's mouth, to the artists themselves. But there was this one person, Alessandro from Besnate, Italy, and Alessandro nailed it, and it was from his meaning that I started to look at the song in a different light. So on that note, let's get started with the lyrics. So, a heart that's full up like a landfill. All right, that's kind of self-explanatory. A job that slowly kills you. Bruises that won't heal. All right, so the songwriter, Tom York, is describing a person, obviously, who's not doing well. So then, it seems that the subject of the song is either quoting a person telling him this, or there is a person in the song telling the subject this. But the next line is, "You look so tired, unhappy. Bring down the government. They don't speak for us." So now there is a person trying to tell the guy, listen, maybe the reason why you're so depressed and so tired and so unhappy is that the government and their policies are bringing us down. Now, for those in America, probably know what I'm talking about right now. It's 2018. I'm not naming any names here, but I think I know who I'm talking about. So one of the ways to get out of this depression and anxiety about what's going on is to get active, is to form groups, activist groups, no matter how many people. And that, along with a sense of community and a sense of purpose, these things alleviate whatever depression and anxiety you feel. So it's someone trying to tell this person, hey man, come on, this is what we have to do. But then the subject of the song just goes back to, I'll take a quiet life, a handshake of carbon monoxide. So this could mean some things. A quiet life is self-explanatory, but then a handshake of carbon monoxide. Does this mean the subject of the song is suicidal? Possibly, because why else would you want a handshake of carbon monoxide if that sounds like you're planning to kill yourself? So this person is not in a good space because, and then the next lyrics are, with a handshake of carbon monoxide with no alarms and no surprises, no alarms and no surprises. And then he goes silent, silent. And the way Tom York sings that, before I thought, my old meaning to this song, what I thought the song was originally about, because apparently I don't pay attention that well to lyrics sometimes. That silence, that could be like a meditation mantra. It's like silence. All right. I want to feel nothing. I want to experience nothing. Now, sometimes experiencing nothing is good. You do have to ground yourself. You don't want to be surrounded by, while it's very, very important to read the news, you don't want to be bombarded with news all day because it will drive you crazy. So yes, silence is good. Being silent is good. That's why I think I don't think the song can be interpreted in different ways, but I think there are layers to it, and I don't know if the band meant to do this, but even if they didn't, it's still brilliant anyway. And then the person says, "This is my final fit, my final bellyache." So either this person is planning to kill his or herself, or kill him or herself, or it's this person is saying, I'm giving up. And I know people like that. I know people who just want to stay in their bubble and not know anything because knowing what's going on around them makes them nervous, makes them sad, makes them anxious. They just want to go upon their merry way. And my response to that is, if that's what you do and then all of a sudden some really bad stuff happens, you didn't have the knowledge to maybe do something about it and to change it. And one person does make a difference because one person becomes many. And many becomes a group, and a group, that's how we bring about change. And I'm talking politically because I'm an American in 2018. Not naming any names. All right. So, and then it repeats with no alarms, no surprises. And then the last new lyric is such a pretty house and such a pretty garden. It's so funny. I remember when I was visiting a friend, and she really did have a pretty house, and she was having a garden. It was really a pretty garden, and I sang such a pretty house and such a pretty garden. But again, I think it's the subject of the song, or the writer of this song, saying, well, look at my house, it's pretty, and look at my garden, it's pretty. This is all I want. This is my bubble. I don't want to get involved. And I think the beauty of music and the beauty of lyrics is that, you can take a depressing lyric, and a depressing lyric can inspire you to do something that's the opposite of the lyric. And I believe Radiohead, Tom York, the band itself, they're doing that with this. And, with the lullaby theme and then the theme of the lyrics, but at the same time encouraging the opposite is what makes this song so brilliant. And then the music itself is so good. It's relaxing, and it's beautiful, and it has this ambient and surreal quality to it. Tom York's voice is beautiful, and you have the xylophone in the back. You want to listen to this with headphones. It's so atmospheric. The whole OK Computer album is like that, and it needs to be listened to from beginning to end. I hope someday to have a podcast about the whole OK Computer album. Rolling Stone, maybe 6 months ago, it was the 20th anniversary of OK Computer, and they covered it. And from what I remember, Tom York was writing about the disconnect that he felt with modern technology. And this was 1997, so can you imagine if there was an OK Computer 2 now? Actually, there doesn't have to be an OK Computer 2 now, because you can still listen to OK Computer, and it can still relate to today. I think that's all with no surprises. Oh, and then, on another level, this song makes me cry, for the reasons that I talked about. So when, music helps me feel, and when I feel and get sadness out of me, it helps. So, there's been some sad things going on in my life. There's been happy things too, but there's also been sad things. And then when the sad things happen, this is kind of my go-to song, because there is a part of me that wants the no alarms and no surprises. I think that's like that for everybody. But there is a balance. You can have your quiet time, you can have your no alarms and no surprises, but you need that to recharge, to get out there and do something, because we Americans live in America in 2018. So, very inspiring song on so many different levels, and such a brilliant song, a brilliant album. And like I said, I'm not that big a fan of Radiohead. If they're on, great, I'll listen to them, and I think it's good. But, anything after OK Computer, like Kid A, I thought was good, but then it was like kind of boring. There's some magnificent songs on that, but it's a little boring. And then, they got more and more, I guess, ambient sounding and more electronic sounding, and I guess I prefer them with more guitars. But, I respect the hell out of what they do, and I respect the hell out of who they are, and they're still going strong today on so many different levels. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean that you shouldn't like it. At least I hope not. But I did read in that Rolling Stone article that I thought I read that they may go back to a more guitar-centric sound, which would be great. So we'll see. I remember I saw Radiohead once in concert, and I wasn't there to see them. I saw them open up for Alanis Morissette. I think it was in 1996. They were on the Bends, and from what I read about that tour, they actually played some stuff from OK Computer, but I didn't really know any songs. The only songs I knew were Creep, which was from their first album, Pablo Honey, which was like their hit. You heard Creep and you thought that, oh, it's like a Nirvana ripoff, and Tom York kind of looks like Kurt Cobain, and this would be their one hit and that's it. Creep's a great song, overplayed, but that's not their fault. It's a great song. And then Just from the Bends. The Bends is a good album. Bends is a good rock album. There's some beautiful songs on that. Bends was a great precursor to OK Computer. They just kind of took what they did on the Bends and just evolved so much. And Just was the only song I knew, so I remember they closed with that. And then I got to see Alanis Morissette on the Taylor. I'm thinking of Taylor Hawkins. He was her drummer back then, who's Taylor Hawkins is now in the Foo Fighters. But I got to see Alanis Morissette on the Jagged Little Pill tour back in the day, 1996. So anyway, thank you for listening to my ramblings on things from back in the day, but back in the day doesn't mean it's timeless. So for those of you who haven't heard OK Computer, please listen to it. It is brilliant. So, and speaking of listening, thanks for listening to me. And you can find me on Twitter. My name is Mike Lane, and this is the Music, Movies, and More podcast. You can find me on Twitter at MikeLaneAct. That's Mike Lane Act. You can find me on Facebook at Mike Lane Actor, and you can find me via email at MikeLaneAct@yahoo.com. Feel free to contact me. I will respond. Please comment, rate, and share on whatever platform you listen to this. And until next time, everybody, hopefully my dad will be here soon so he can help start something, or I can go somewhere. All right, but let's all go somewhere, all right? Because we're in America in 2018, we got to move forward. Vote Democrat. All right, bye.